All right, welcome back, everyone. This is the 25th episode of the Mindset Effect. That's right, right? Okay, yeah, thank God, I got that right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we
I
are
almost
back.
screwed that up earlier.
Yeah, so we are back, with another special episode between the two of us, and we are going to be talking about the mindset of networking today. I think this is going to be a really interesting talk because we just talked with venture capitalists earlier, and we had to message him on LinkedIn to contact him, and you have to really just face the fear of him not responding or people not responding to your asks, and just go ahead with whatever you want to do. What are your thoughts on that?
That's like the Jesse K that we interviewed a while ago. He was like, dude, when I first started my podcast, I DM'd 350 people every single day. And like now look at this podcast. Now it's huge. And so like I think people you've gotta put the work in. You've gotta like not be afraid of it not working out. Cause it's like, it might work out, it might not. People might listen, they might not. But like if you just go out there and like talk to these people, it's like what they always say. It's like you never get what you don't ask for. It's like you've just got
Hmm.
to go out there and ask.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, you just have to. I think it's mainly belief. You have to believe in yourself, like I always say,
Hmm.
like believing in
Yeah.
your own, believing that you can control your own destiny. Focus on the things that you can control, and don't worry about the things that you can't control, and just work
Hmm.
harder than anyone else.
Yeah. And I think like branding is huge in networking. So like if you, let's say you're somebody who's like actually pretty successful, somebody that like people might want to reach out to, like if you're listening, like someone that you admire, imagine that you're that person, and like you got to think of who would that person want to talk to. So like if you're some just random nobody who's just messaging them and being like, hey, I don't want to provide any value to you, I just want to like take some value from you in a 30-minute conversation, so I get something out of it you don't, like they're not going to want to listen. But like if you can brand yourself as somebody who wants to help others and who is a good person, like you're going to get a lot of people who are more willing to like talk to you and get on that call, and so you'll be able to actually network. So it's like a lot of people forsake their branding, and and personal branding by itself just has a really bad stigma around it. But it's like they always say, it's like treat it as your reputation. Like if you're in your high school or something, if you're young and listening, you want to be like branded, or you want to have the reputation of being somebody who's good and helpful and nice, like someone that people can go to, because that'll help a lot with all of your ventures.
I would say you have to just be good enough yourself. You can't just brand yourself
Hmm.
as someone like super good when actually you're not even that good.
Yeah.
Like you're
Hmm.
you shouldn't tell the world that you have these sort of capabilities when you don't, right? And so I'm going to say that you really should focus on investing in yourself. You have to, in my experience, it's all about building on the wins that you've already accumulated in the past. And if you haven't started investing in yourself yet, then it's all about building that strong foundation of values and skills necessary for that skyrocketing growth in the future. And if you have built that foundation, that strong foundation of values, experiences, wins, and failures, the more you keep building on that, the greater body your overall structure will have. And so it's all about just investing in yourself to the point where you can
Hmm.
actually feel confident contacting people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it's important to understand. I think this has been drilled into people's heads, but like it needs to be understood. It's like, you're never going to always get an yes. And I can't remember if I talked about this on a previous episode or if I just like had a conversation with like you or someone about this. But like, there are so many people out there in the world. And, all these people love to think that they're special enough to be the only one that's like them. And it's like, no, there are like almost 8 billion people on the planet. There, I guarantee you, are thousands of people who are just like you. Like I used to think, I'm from the middle of nowhere and I was like super ambitious. I had nobody around me that was like ambitious. And so I was like, I'm the only one on the planet who was like this.
You're like a
And then
you were like the big fish in the small pond. You can't compare yourself. You have
exactly.
to, like, if you keep
Yeah.
comparing yourself to like a bunch of average people, you're just going to be like that frog in a well. You're not seeing the entire big picture.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the main point with this is like, you're never alone. Like, you're never just that one individual who's like this. There's so many people out there that are like you. Look at all these people who were weird and like hippies in the olden days, and like, you know there are always people who are going to be the same weird type as you. And so, like, this is why you shouldn't try to brand yourself as something you're not. You shouldn't try to fake you, because, like, imagine if you did get like 1 million followers on like Instagram or something, but like none of them actually care about any of your stuff because you are just faking yourself. You're like putting yourself out there in like all these different ways to try to please people. You're never going to build up these actual relationships with these people, and none of those followers are going to actually turn into anything. But if you just be you and you're like, I'm ultra weird and I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm just going to be me. That's going to be attractive to everyone else that's just like you. So you might have way less followers, but like you're going to get that bond, and you're going to create that like community of people who are just like you and can actually provide value to you,
Yeah, so
and you
like
can
once
actually
again,
provide
this
value to
all,
them.
comes back to belief, right? You have to believe that you can
Hmm.
do it. And I personally am a big believer in optimism. Like I always say, if people can feel helplessness, they can also learn optimism. So you have to focus on those positive emotions, those positive traits, and those positive institutions that will get you to where you want to be. And really, like you say, it's all about the character, right? Your character matters more than your reputation. And if you have that character, I think people will just be magnetically drawn to you no matter what.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's like,
Honestly,
so,
having a good character is like the best branding
yeah.
that you can do.
Yeah. I mean, it's
And
like,
also
never,
impeccable honesty and integrity. Never
yeah.
lie, and just like
Hmm.
be like transparent.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to always keep your word. Like, that
Mhm.
is, yeah, that's something I've ranted about quite a bit recently. Is like, if you say you're going to do something, do it every single time. Because would you rather be branded as somebody who, they say they're going to do it, they always do it. You can always count on them doing it. Or do you want to be the kind of person who, I had a friend like this in high school where they would say that they were going to do something and it would never happen. And so eventually you just got to the point of being like, they're never going to do that. And people just stop having faith in you, and it's not the kind of person that you want to be, I don't think.
Why do you think people like say they're going to do something but they don't do it? Is it the
I
fear
don't
of maybe doing it, whatever
I
it
don't
may
know if
be?
it's necessarily like I don't know if it's necessarily super intentional. Sometimes people might say they're going to do something just to please people in the moment, and then like later on in the future, like actually holding your word on that, you have to actually give something up or like put in effort in something. And they're just like, oh, I just I don't want to do that, or like their values change. So like actually a really good example is like in The Hobbit, like the movie The Hobbit. There's like Thorin, who's like the dwarven king or whatever, and so he's like, him and his companions are kind of locked in this jail in this town. And so they bargain with the townspeople saying, we will give you all of this gold if you let us go. You just have to let us go so we can get to our
Oh man.
home and, get
Uh-oh. Yo, just so you know, you like cut off.
escape. They get to the mountain with it, and like his reading. You hear me?
Okay, yeah, I hear you, but you're like you're like frozen, dude. Can you hear me?
Uh,
There we go. You're
you
back.
hear me?
Yeah, dude. What the? let's just continue where you left off.
Yeah,
Oh, you froze again. Oh, there you are. Okay,
you're
cool.
kind of cutting off.
Am I cutting off?
Too. Yeah,
What?
you hear me? I don't
No,
know.
you.
This is probably on my end.
Yeah, yeah, we should always just blame you. But no, you're fine now.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's because
Oh
like
wait, no, you're still.
yeah, I don't
Oh,
know. We like
okay, okay, you're fine.
is it fine?
Oh, you're fine now. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. We since I had to like move to my room, I'm like on the outskirts of my house, and so the Wi-Fi isn't as good as over here.
I
So
blame your
probably on
sister.
my
I'll tell
end.
your sister fuck off.
Yeah, honestly, it's all because of them.
All right, so where did you leave off?
But that's
I
a
kind of
good
forgot.
question. Why did I leave
You
off?
were talking about
Same.
something. All right, I'm just gonna
Mhm.
like actually just like put like a we should put like disclaimer during that part you cut off. Just be like Andrew cut off and then resume.
Yeah.
Let's just start. Let's just
Are
start.
we just
Okay.
gonna put the whole thing in?
No, of course we're gonna cut that part out. But
Yeah. Because
all right,
now we
we
have
are.
to do video editing. So
That's fine. Yeah. Fuck yeah, you're right. Whatever. It's fine. Just one episode.
yeah.
Yeah. Let me just continue. All right, so we are back. After Andrew's momentary lapse of internet connection, and yeah, no, I forgot where we left off, but I just want to say that I feel like another important quality during networking is you proactively sharing your purpose. You know, like a lot of people, they spend a lot of their life engaged in small talk, and
Mhm.
they always end up with the same answer, the same topics they talk about, and they never really step out of their comfort zone. And that's why they never really build deep relationships when they network.
Yeah.
They literally network people. They're like, hey, how's your day? What kind of stuff do you eat? Whatever fucking shit they ask.
Yeah.
Anyway, but like, in my opinion, these successful people that network, they I think they're really fired up by what they do. But it's not like they force their beliefs onto others. But if it does come up in conversation, like, you should share your purpose.
I agree.
It's all about that.
Yeah, I think you've got to be true to yourself. Like this is why it's important, like all of this is like a step-by-step process. Like so actually, you might be incredibly shy. And in fact, what
Oh my
steps,
god, I
Kevin,
just
would you
thought of
give to
something.
somebody to like kind of what is it?
Wait, what are you gonna say? No, I just thought
Well,
of something.
like
So like,
what's
yeah, let me
you go,
Jesus
it's
Christ.
fine.
Okay, let me just talk. Yeah, I just thought of something. So you want to be like the first to humanize your conversations with others, especially when you're networking, because you don't know the other person, they don't know you. And
hmm
a lot of the times people are just too afraid to be the first to break the ice, to ask that deep question or whatever. Like, be the first person to break the serious mood that's going on. Just crack a joke or something. Take the risk. you know go on with the ask. Just do your thing, like, no matter. And you have to, like, keep in mind, no matter what happens, it will always be okay.
It's always temporary.
Yeah. Yeah, so what
So
are you gonna
like
ask me?
if there's like yeah. Yeah, so like so what I was thinking of is, a lot of people are incredibly shy. Um, and so like how would you build up the confidence, like build up the steps to get them to be able to talk
Oh fuck, dude, you just cut off again. No.
now
Oh my god, you cut off.
reach out?
Dude, can you hear me?
Uh,
Dude, I can hear you, but
uh,
like, oh no.
oh my god.
Oh my, there we go. Okay, what the fuck happens? Did I
I
freeze or
don't
did
know.
you freeze?
No, this is probably me because I think I left the meeting again.
Holy fuck.
Ugh.
Okay. All
All
right.
right.
We are back.
It's fine.
But I remember your question was, what advice would you give to a shy person, right?
hmm
What was the context again?
Um, I, I mean, I think just like when you're reaching out, a lot of people are too shy to like go out and actually reach out to people. And so,
Okay,
like,
yeah.
what steps would you give them to build up to that?
I mean, I guess I can relate to that. I think you can too. I think
hmm
anyone at any point can relate to that, because we don't start out, extroverted or, just super confident in ourselves when we, ask someone else for something. I think we all start out, really shy, especially with our first ask. It's like any first thing. Like, you ask your first girl out, like, that's always, something really, anxiety inducing, and it's really scary, but like once you get past that first hurdle, like it becomes easier and easier the more you do it.
Mhm.
And the thing that like I'd equate it to is it's like you feel numb to rejection, or you feel numb to the responses of the people you're talking to or asking, because once you do it enough, like you just get used to it, and that's ultimately the purpose of um that's ultimately the outcome of what happens when you do it a lot.
Yeah.
So
In
that's the
my
advice I would give.
Yeah.
Just reach out to a lot of people. The more you do
Yeah.
it, the less you'll feel afraid of it.
I agree. I think, a lot of these people will try to give all these pieces of advice about like, oh, if you're shy, here's how you get out of it, whatever, whatever. And it's like these people are able to do this because, in my opinion, it's like you're feeding off of people's fear to actually take action. Like the ultimate answer is always just freaking do it. Like you're never going to feel like it's the right time. You're never going to feel comfortable enough. You just have to do it. It's like, it's what I always say. You always know in the moment what you need to do. Like if you're playing video games, you always know that you need to stop and like get to work. If you're like eating like donuts, you always know that you shouldn't be eating that. You should like get a salad or something. It's like every single time you know what you need to do, you're just choosing not to. And so like in the end, the problem is you. It's always you. And like so many people nowadays are like, oh, read this book on how to not get shy. And like, just reading about it is never going to get you there. You got to take the action. Like something that helped me was getting a job at Kroger and being a cashier. Like I talked to thousands of people every day. I was forced to just sit there for like 30 seconds, hit like 30-second intervals, like talk to a new person, get to know them, ask about them. And I got really good at just asking tons of stuff about them, like figuring out what they did for a living, like if they had kids, like what were their kids' names? What do their kids do? Like, I think you just have to jump into it and to throw yourself into the fire and practice. Dancing around the answer is never going to get you anywhere. And so I would agree with that.
Mm, yeah. Um, actions, they create results, and it's that value driven approach that you should take, not the entitled approach of well, here's an example. So a lot of people, they go to work, and they don't work as hard because they're not getting paid as much, and that's the entitled approach, where you're
Hmm.
like, pay me more and I'll do more. You shouldn't have that mindset. You want to have the mindset of, I'll do more and then you'll pay me more. That's the
Hmm.
value driven approach, and that's the one that's the approach uh, that comes about when you take action. And
Yes.
I'll say, your philosophy is what you know, how you hold what you know, and how it affects what you do. And you should keep that in mind. Like successful people, they fail their way to the top.
Hmm.
You have to do the thing and you'll have the power.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
Thomas Edison said, like he failed so many times, not even failed. Like the way he put it was, I have not failed. I have simply found 10,000 different ways that don't work. You have
Hmm.
to have that sort of mindset.
Exactly. It's like, if you're running a startup, it's like your startup never fails until you say it fails. Like once you give it up, that's when it fails. But like, it is 100% always possible. I mean, like depending on like your industry, if you're in like the space industry, building rockets is a little bit harder. But like if you're working on software or something and you know how to code, it is never over until you say it's over. Like you could fire everyone if necessary and keep working on yourself until you get to a point where you can hire people again. And there's a company my brother always talks about, and that's called Gumroad, and they were like going to go out of business if they kept going the way that they were going. So the founder fired everyone and just worked on it himself for a little bit of time, and now they're profitable. And it's like it's never over until you say it's over. Like I think it's Les Brown, like to your point, what he said when he was working somewhere, he every day or like every week, I think he would go out and wash his boss's car. Like never asked to do that, but he would just go out and do it because he was providing extra value. And so when promotion time came, it was always him that got it because he was taking the extra step. And it's
Yeah.
it's the same. It's the same in like every job.
Yeah, no, I have my own personal quote. Sever comfort, seek challenge.
I
That's
like
what you
that.
got to do. And like every failure that you encounter exponentially increases your chances for success.
Hmm.
So just keep that in mind. You
Yeah,
should like
yeah.
literally want failure.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is what's so funny is like, like we said, like if you, this applies to everything, and if you never ask, you never get it. So like I think it's Dan Pena. Like depending on like people, like it doesn't matter what your thoughts on him are, because he can be a little bit of an asshole at times, I think. But like
He sounds like a digital marketer for some reason.
no, I don't think so. He's like ultra rich though. And so he says, he's like, dude, when I was young, I got more ass than anyone because I would ask. And he's like, you literally just have to ask, like, no
Did
matter
you say
what you want.
ass?
Yeah, like literally, like that's what he would say. It's like, and it doesn't matter what you want, whether it's like girls or money or like a job. Like you will never get it unless you put in the effort to go and get it and
Oh,
like
wait, did you
ask for
actually
it.
say ass?
Yeah, like that's his line. Like he literally says that. I know it's crazy, but like it's the point in like life, not just for that, but like it's if you don't go for it, you'll never get it. And so
Oh,
like
okay,
even
cool.
if that's a job or like yeah, or like girls or whatever, it's like you're never gonna get it unless you go for it and try. And it's like this includes
Yes.
people, like you will never make those connections unless you try. Like if you're just sitting there too scared, like you'll never get that connection. And so like you've got to go out there and you've got to offer everything you can to that person. And like, like I've said, like try to provide some value to people. Like some tips that Kevin and I have are yeah, like for anyone who's like listening and wants to get to know somebody who's like big, like one of the best things you can do is like you want to provide value. You don't want to just go and be like, hey, I want to steal some of your time, but I'm not giving, start a podcast and be like, I want to go talk to somebody. So I'm going to go and entice them by having them come on a podcast so they can share their story, because
Yeah.
then you're providing value to them and you might just impress them and they want to get into a relationship with you. And so like if you can provide value to people, you're going to have a lot better of a way to make those
Hmm.
relationships. Like that's what
Yeah.
Gary Vee has done, is like he's provided so much value that anyone would love to talk to him.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. I'm gonna wrap this up because you keep cutting off. I'm so scared of you cutting off again. But yeah, I want to leave you guys with this. Just always keep in mind that no matter what, you will be okay. And it doesn't matter what you do. Just always remember that. And um, especially the best example I can give. Like we always say, if you ask a girl out and a girl doesn't want to go on a date with you, it's much better to know that right away than to spend months trying to figure out what signal she's sending.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
just always know that. And also review us if you liked it, subs if you loved it. And also we have a brand new YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
If you want to see our pretty faces,
Yeah, especially mine.
we put
In
we
my
post it.
filthy room right now because I got displaced from my other one.
Yeah,
So if you want to go see Andrew's dirty room.
yeah, we pretty much post the video counterpart to the podcast audio you're listening to right now.
Mhm.
And yeah, we will see you guys next time.
See ya. Tell your friends too, y'all.